keep it to short clips.
Yeah. Well, the federal government enters the third week, trying for the record, second longest in U.S. history. What do you think?
All right, so it's really hard for me because it's been announced that this could have been over by now. Several senators have all said, and most people don't know this, but there's something called the nuclear option that they're calling it, where they can activate some rule or something and force a vote, and you don't have to have 60 votes for it to pass. You can have like 51 votes or something.
To open the government back up?
That, huh?
Is that what you're to open the government back up? I don't know how that works.
No, they just used. So the problem is they can't get a funding bill passed with Democratic support because they think it's corrupt as shit. But the Republicans used this nuclear option that they're calling it to approve 100 justices for Trump and for the administration. And several senators came out and publicly said, hey, if they really want the government opened up, they could do the exact same fucking thing and they could pass the funding bill. And they're choosing not to. So the fact that government's been shut down for weeks, maybe shut down for more weeks, and Trump has said, oh my God, I can't believe Democrats gave me this opportunity. They're trying to lay all these people off. They're redirecting funding around however they want to, willy-nilly, which I'm hearing from most sources, this is illegal. They're stealing. And where the hell's Congress? Like, everything's just screwed. But my understanding is Republicans can end this anytime they want by going nuclear and using this special rule to bypass needing the full 60 votes or whatever it is and approving the funding bill to move the government back into action. But that's the thing, though. What a lot of people don't realize is the reason it's shut down is, in my mind, 3 reasons. 1, they're trying to use it to make Democrats look bad. So it's a weapon. 2, they're not paying a bunch of people, which they're okay with because they like money being given to the rich and to them. So they're going for it. And 3, they think this gives them special unilateral capabilities to bypass Congress and other laws to make changes to like who's employed and what money goes to what programs. Since they think government's out of session, they can just go sneak in like a ghost in the bank being closed and do whatever they want. So they are using this as a weapon, as a cover to go do whatever they want. When the reality is they could go and pass this funding bill at any time and get the government open. So
number 4, here's the real reason.
Democrats' fault is crazy.
Here's the real reason why the government shut down is they're trying to hide the Epstein files because Senator Grijalva in Arizona was elected. They're not going to swear her in because she is I think it's the 260.
She's the last vote that they need to get the vote numbers to release the partially redacted, where the victims are redacted, but nobody else is. And Trump has said he's on the list. The FBI has said he's on the list. Numerous insiders inside the FBI have said he's on the list. Multiple other countries have said he's on the list. If you think the U.S. is the only country in the world that has this information, you're crazy. He's on the list. In fact, a lot of people are saying, based on the information they have and have seen, he is the list for the majority of it. And it wasn't like, oh, well, he was just at a party. It's like, no. Based on the information, my understanding is he was crucial to Jeffrey Epstein's human sex trafficking operation. But, I mean, I'm just going off what I've heard. This is hearsay.
There's been plenty of stories about that whole world during that time period that show that they were really, really good friends. They had a falling out, and it seems like it was because of a stolen person, a.k.a. Virginia Giuffre.
No, the information based on what I've heard, and this is hearsay again, until it's released, I don't know, is that he became an informant on Epstein because Epstein outmaneuvered him on the purchase of a real estate deal, of the acquisition or the success on a real estate deal. He outmaneuvered Trump, and Trump got mad about it and turned on Epstein. That's what I've heard.
Let's explore that, the informant part. Did you hear that it was an FBI? He was informing the FBI?
Yeah.
So Kash Patel, you should have some files there.
Oh, I'm sure he does. And I'm sure they're sitting right next to the Epstein files, and they're never going to be made public.
AFK files?
Well, the P files are a whole different thing. I heard about that. I think what
The
that
golden shower tapes?
No, they're not golden showers. So apparently, I don't. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to go find this. It has nothing to do with sex. The explanation I heard is from somebody in that sphere, and it basically was Trump was trying to get some land deal, and there was a guy that was keeping him from being able to get it. He was in Russia at the time, this guy, and he was murdered in the street. The thing they were implying was Trump paid somebody to have this guy killed so that he could complete this business deal. And the Russians have the documentation showing Trump is implicit or complicit in the murder of somebody on their soil.
That makes a lot of sense for why Trump is just kissing Putin's ass the entire time we've known.
They have a file showing RICO level assassination of a political or of a business rival.
This is our opinion, TikTok. I've already had my TikTok channel banned 3 times. So everything we're saying is an opinion, TikTok.
I mean, these are what I've heard. This is what I understand. I don't have anything to back this up. And everybody can tell me I'm crazy or conspiracy or tin hat. And that's cool, man. That is cool.
It makes sense,
and
though.
If you don't like the content, man, go research it. Go say actual facts, not you're crazy, not your conspiracy. Like, if you want to have a discussion, let's have a discussion. If you want to just be belligerent, go find something else better to do with your life.
Hey, not for nothing. I did also want to open up the Almost Above Average podcast to spirited debates. If there's anybody out in MAGA that is willing to have a reasonable conversation, we don't want to get in a shouting match, but I genuinely want to understand some of you. I would love to host the debate where maybe you and J Train, we can talk about some prompts and you guys can go back and forth and we'll just see where we stand. I think that would be great. And anybody in the MAGA party interested in that, drop a comment or send me a direct message. I would love to do that. But yeah.
But who's going to condone old orange Cheeto dude? But anyway, yeah. So the Epstein thing, the file, the vote, all that, I fully believe is number 4. And I forgot that one. Thank you for bringing that up.
I'm not forgetting.
There's a reason she hasn't been sworn in. There's a reason they have been controlling how much they've been open. There's a reason they've controlled the votes. There's a reason they're doing the timing away. Like, they're purposely not opening up the government because they don't want to, is the ultimate reason. They have a bunch of different reasons, but ultimately they don't want to. And you're suffering and your child's deaths for, like, that one poor lady. God, I feel so bad for her. That one poor lady who needs the government open in order to get money, in order to supply medicines for her kids, and they're doing these shenanigans to keep Trump from potentially being severely outed in the Epstein files, or because he wants to fire people. Like, none of these are good reasons. And honestly,
he's the only reason for the cover-up of the Epstein files. It's because his name is in it. He is the biggest fish on that list.
Yeah, I saw something like MAGA Republicans, non-MAGA Republicans, and Democrats are all at, according to the thing I saw, 80% or more wanting that file without redaction. I mean, redacting the victims, I can understand, but as minimal redaction as possible to become public domain so that we can know what the hell's going on. And the fact that it hasn't, and we're 10 months in, or a little less, right around 10 months into Trump being in office, and we still don't have this file that they said that they were 100% going to release on day one, and we're going to release it. What release? Like, come on. They're not releasing it. This is my opinion, and this is a lot of people's opinion. But you make your own decision. The reason they're not releasing it is because Trump did some bad things to some very young girls and was complicit in that thing happening. That's my opinion, based on everything I've read and heard, and the game theory around why they still haven't released it.
There's a planned Trump-Putin summit is postponed after Russia rejected an American-backed Ukraine ceasefire proposal. Did you read anything about that?
Yes, I saw that. So there's a really interesting article that was reviewed on YouTube, and I was listening to it, and they were talking about why doesn't Putin end the war? And the fundamentals were that the Russian economy could not handle it. So because of the war dragging on, because of all the restrictions on exporting, because of all the resource issues that they have, if you know how we have a war engine, and when we're not at war, we don't make money on that war engine. Well, the war engine for Russia is the primary dominant factor of the Russian economy. This is what I've been told. I'm not an economist. This is just what somebody knowledgeable in that space said. And if they stopped the war, if they backed out, called it quits, the economy would implode, according to what experts I was listening to said. So he literally can't. He is boxed in. And until he wins and can build out new business and or shift or whatever, he's locked in. And if he loses, Russia goes under. If he wins, Russia goes under. If Russia calls it and calls it true, like there's no out. There's no end game here other than to perpetuate the war because of, let's say the P tape is real that we were just talking about. And the P stands for the guy's name, one of the guys, I think the guy's last name, based on what the other guy was saying. If he does have a dossier on an assassination, or let's say there's information about money laundering or about Epstein, because that's the other thing too. It was announced on the congressional floor by one of the senators that they had information for like over $700 million being transferred from Donald Trump through a Russian bank to Epstein. So, I mean, if that's true, then you got to admit there's no way the Russian government doesn't have his nuts in a vice, because that means they have the incriminating evidence to prove that Trump participated in child bad thingies. So either the murder thing's real or the bang thing's real or both of them's real. And like, there's a reason he capitulates to Putin every single time we turn around. 2 weeks, I'm going to do these things, and then tacos on all of them. Or continuing to try to arrange for. And you notice, like, he's like, I'm going to get peace in Ukraine. I'm going to go meet with Putin. But then he doesn't invite Zelensky. He doesn't set this up to where Zelensky can attend. It's like, no, he's not. No, him going and meeting Putin and saying it's about anything is horseshit. The truth is, he wants to go meet with his handler who's got what do you call it, compromat on him, compromising information. This is him going and meeting with the person who's blackmailing him.
He's even threatening to stop giving Ukraine Tomahawk missiles.
Well, recently. So my understanding of that is that Trump announced that he was going to give Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine. And then he got a talking to by Putin.
Right.
And then he had to go back
before the meeting.
And basically, if I remember correctly, Russia said publicly that if we gave Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine, Russia would assume that that was an official act of war by the United States. But here's the thing, like, Russia was in trouble for a little bit. I don't know if they're still doing this, but they were doing this. They were flying their planes and drones and even hitting targets in NATO-based countries nearby, testing the waters and seeing how far they could push NATO before they responded. If we didn't have concerns about Russia having active, available, and effective nuclear ordnance, I can tell you we would have gone in and cleared that house already. But because MAD revolves around being fearful of retaliation with nukes, we don't feel empowered to go do that.
I agree with
what are we going to do? Now, if Trump really wanted to get after this, he would go give the information in real-time surveillance so that Ukraine could take out every boat exiting Russia and every convoy exiting Russia and just obliterate their economy. Even more so than them sending in drones and destroying factories and fuel depots and all bases. Like, hit them on the way out too.
Right.
Because they're getting that oil to India and China somehow. Now, the really scary thing, and this is, I've mentioned this a couple times, I am very fearful of what would happen if we pushed on Russia. Like, if we said, screw you, Putin, you don't, like, what are you going to do? And gave the Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine. What's Ukraine going to do? Are they going to launch nukes then? Are we going end of days? Or are they going to be like, oh shit, and just move on? But more importantly, what would China do? Because is China and, what was it? China, Iraq, and Russia, and
Iran,
China, and Russia, and
Syria.
Somebody else.
Syria.
Yeah, they just entered some new, like, pack. So
yeah, like the evil leaders of the world, like the dark side is what it seems like.
So at what point do we go, God, what if China enters this fray? Are we seriously going World War III?
What side are they going to be on, too? Are they going to take Russia's side? Or are they going to help us?
And then my dad asked me recently, or not my dad, my uncle asked me about intercept systems. So my understanding, based on publicly available knowledge of all defensive capabilities in the United States, basically comes down to non-hypersonic missiles. We have technology that can intercept the majority of them. And that's one of the things that happened over the whole Israel versus Iran thing when they were firing missiles at each other. We had intercept tech in Israel that helped shoot down, what was it, like all but one
most
or two?
Of them, like 3 hit or something like that.
Yeah, the overwhelming majority of the missiles that Iran, I think it was Iran, right?
Yep.
Iran fired, we shot down. And we were testing out that intercept system. Now, that's
the Iron Dome of Israel, is what you're talking about, right?
But there's conventional and there's space age weapons that we need to differentiate. The conventional weapons are we fire a missile, they fire a missile, or sorry, they fire a missile, we figure out the tracking for it, we fire a missile, our missile takes out their missile, done. Something along those lines, right? A hypersonic's a whole different animal because you're going faster than the speed of sound. It means faster than sound. Targeting that based on a variety of different factors, like the amount of time it takes for us to find it on a satellite and be able to track it and relay it, coordinate and fire something, can then coordinate with the satellite and hit it. Like, my understanding is our ability to take out a hypersonic intercontinental nuclear capable ballistic missile once it reaches hypersonic speeds is near zero, even with everything we have. But my uncle did bring up a good point. It's like, what do we not know? And Trump said in a conference that he was fully confident that America had the technology to take out those missiles. And I'm like, God, man, for the first time in my life, I'm hoping that he's telling the truth. There's like a secret.
He's not. That was all bluster. You know him.
No, not necessarily. That's not necessarily true. So Trump has said, and declassified by saying it kind of stuff, a variety of different things, and has announced without full like process happening, he's declassified information that he may or may not have.
But not the Epstein files. Hit like and subscribe.
But we do know categorically that we have laser-based weapons on ships and on mobile vehicles. Between that, enhanced radar, and satellites, it is theoretically possible that we have the ability to shoot down a hypersonic missile with a microwave gun or a laser-based gun. And I've seen videos of them shooting down drones and planes and other stuff with this technology. So, I mean, they have some of it working. It's not a huge jump to say it is possible that we have one and a system in place and everything tested to be able to shoot down an intercontinental ballistic missile. In fact, I would even go so far to say it is possible that South Korea or Korea has it too. We have it deployed there. And some of those long-range ballistic missiles that North Korea shot, the reason they fell into the water the way they did is because we took them out with our systems. So, I mean, I'm not saying this is true. I have no indication other than they fired a missile, it didn't go very far, and it crashed in the ocean. Like, they could just literally be that incompetent. Or if they're getting the technology and the specs and help from the engineers from Russia, because we know they're exchanging information, we know they're exchanging troops and scientists, we know they're exchanging weapon systems and all that kind of stuff. Like, maybe one of these systems using a Russian tech set and scientists and help from Russia would have delivered an intercontinental ballistic missile to its actual target had it not been shot down with a currently classified, not publicly known anti-ballistic missile weapon system. The reason it fell into the ocean is because we shot it down.
Here's another thought.
Possible.
Instead of spending billions and billions on developing all these deadly weapons, why don't we try diplomacy? And maybe working it out with Russia and Ukraine.
All right, so there's two reasons for that. There's two main. Remember how I just talked about the economy? So if they declared peace based on that information, the economy of Russia would collapse, and Putin would lose power. So we know Putin doesn't want that. So that's reason one. Reason number two is there's a lot of speculation that he is currently dying of cancer in his extreme stages.
Who, Putin?
Yeah.
Ooh.
And so remember, if you go back and look up, there was a guy with a poop briefcase that accompanied Putin to the Alaskan talk when he met with Trump. And if anytime he went pee or poop, that guy collected it in this special,
Russian receptacle for poop and pee of a Russian leader.
And he collected. Now, why is that? There's two reasons I can think of for that. One, that wasn't actually Putin. It was one of his imposters, which is a theory that is going around. And I've seen enough to man, I can't tell. Anyway, or two, he is actually dying of cancer or has cancer or some significant illness. And if he doesn't leave behind anything, there's nothing for us to test to verify that he has cancer. So a lot of people said that he has cancer, he is on death's doorstep, and that's why he's going scorched earth with a lot of this, and he's backing out. He's just biding his time, trying to keep Russia great, make Russia great again.
Before he dies.
He's just trying to pad out the rest of his time and go out a hero. But is that true? I mean, the evidence, there's testimony, there's speech, there's tons of stuff in place that says and makes it seem like a reasonable possibility that that's true. And if he's dying and he can't fold the Ukraine war without A, losing face, B, the economy collapsing, or C, or possibly making Russia weak to the rest of the world because like a kicked puppy, all these play into why he can't back out of it. He can't negotiate out of it. And he's just playing Trump along until he dies.
Because he's got all that compromise on him, so that's why Trump is kissing his ass.
I mean, sounds reasonable. Sense. It sounds very possible to me.
That makes a lot of sense. What do you think in the comments? Let me know, MAGA, especially you, MAGA. Is your president a Russian puppet? Tell me that he's not. He is. But tell me that he's not.
Let's go back to, we have troops patrolling our streets, beating civilians, shooting civilians, tear gassing police, fear.
Our friends and neighbors being ripped out of their homes, their workplaces, their vehicles.
Vehicle and materials confiscated, no chance to return. Sites. American citizens dying in custody, like actual American born in the U.S. citizens dying in custody or getting accidentally deported or getting detained for a long time without getting released.
American citizens, guys. Americans.
Cars getting ice ramming cars on the road, tear gassing police.
That was a hit and run too. The ICE is doing hit and runs, and you see there. If you've seen these videos, and there are tons of them out there now, you can see that these federal agents are operating with a sense of impunity. I'm not going to get in trouble.
Impunity is the word.
Impunity. They're just operating like it doesn't matter what
without risk of being impugned, or without risk being impugned, or at risk of having consequences for their actions. Impunity.
This blows my mind because our current administration is doing away with any law that they don't like. So what kind of precedent does that set to the rest of America? And I'll tell you why I think of this. I am a former criminal. I used to do a lot of criminal shit. And when I see our administration, our current president and administration just not caring about any law that they don't want to deal with, that gives me a message, you know?
Well, that they're rich and in charge. They're not you. They'll shoot you in the street.
Right.
You're brown. They'll kill you.
Absolutely.
But the what you're going to do about it ism, which is we're going to break the law. There's nothing you can do. You can't impeach me. You can't arrest me. I have immunity. I can do whatever the hell I want. And who's going to stop me? I can do anything I want.
But that sentiment inspires more crime is what I'm saying. Because they are like that, that's going to inspire a lot of people who, are like I used to be. It's like, fuck you. If you're going to do it, I'm going to take whatever I want from wherever I want and just do whatever I want.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, too. If you look at the No Kings protests over the weekend, what I saw, and I could be wrong, is there were no leftists, as you would call them, arrested for anything. But there were 22 MAGAs arrested. One of them tried to drive a car through a crowd. Several waved guns and threatened peaceful protesters.
Right-wing political violence.
Of the 22 arrests from the No Kings, all of them that based on what I saw was MAGA acting a fool and being violent. And if you look at the two, it's violence. Now, I do want to comment on the No Kings response from Trump. So he goes and says, I'm not a king. I'm not a king. I don't know why this is.
Did you see that video he posted?
And that's what got me.
We should actually watch that.
He posted a video of him crowning himself, getting in a plane and dumping poop on American citizens. And he goes, oh, and Mike Johnson goes, oh, that was just satire. It's like, no, it's not. This is your president posting a video of himself pooping on American citizens.
Yeah.
This is not a president. This is a tyrant. And there's no way anybody here is going to convince me that Donald Trump didn't ask law enforcement to shoot with lethal rounds American citizens over this.
Right, here, let's watch the video.
He's wearing a fucking crown in one of our planes, dumping poop, that's poop, guys, on cities of the U.S. and on American citizens. Trump virtually pooped on America, crowned himself king, and anybody who thinks this is satire is completely missing the point. Ed is either too far up Trump's butt or buried too deep in the sand. This is not what America was founded for.
So Donald Trump posted that.
And J.D. Vance. That had J.D. Vance's name on it.
And J.D. Vance.
So our administration is okay with defecating on the American people and joking about being a king and all, like, and that's the other thing too. It's like, if Trump doesn't believe himself a king, then why does he care about the No Kings protest? Then that wouldn't be for him, right?
He should be there then, right?
And No Kings is literally why our country was founded. So it is American to be a No King Antifa person. In fact, if you want to look at the ultimate Antifa, his name was General George Washington, and the first president of the United States.
Yeah. I am embarrassed that our current president, that is his social media activity. It is embarrassing as an American.
I am embarrassed that 36% of the country approves of this behavior.
Yeah, that is pathetic.
I am so sorry that our school system has utterly failed 36% of our country.
MAGA, I know a lot of you saw that video. What is your genuine reaction to a president of the United States posting a video like that? I want to know your genuine feeling towards that. Are you super excited? Is your feeling like, he's just being Trump? I'm so sick of that line.
But that doesn't make it okay.
No, but everyone says that. That's their excuse for him.
That's being satirical. Still not appropriate. He's just being Trump. No, he's the president of the United States. He is the representative and head of this country for the entire population of every citizen of this country, regardless of political affiliation, color, gender, social beliefs, religious beliefs, anything. He is the commander-in-chief of our military, deploying the military on our people. He is the president of the United States of all people, all citizens of the United States, and he literally posted a video shitting on you.
He is happy to shit on you, and he was happy about it. He was posting that on No King's Day as a joke. He literally could give a shit about you.
It was him telling you, and this is the thing everybody needs to take away, regardless of what side of the fence you are. He values half-ish of this country as subhuman and of no value, and he is repeatedly called for the extinction of Democrats, which are your fellow brothers and sisters and neighbors and churchgoers. Pick anything you do. Some of them are Democrats. Are you okay with the American government shitting on them or murdering them? Because that's what Trump's calling for, and you need to pay attention, because these things, you used to say, oh, well, he's just blustering about abortion. No. He's just blustering about sending troops into cities. No. He's just blustering about making it illegal to burn American flag. Nope. Like how many times do you have to say, oh, he's just blustering about, and then him doing it before you wake the hell up?
They don't wake the hell up. That's the thing. Like, there is no waking up. These people are just gonna blindly believe an orange-haired mango Mussolini forever for no reason.
Now, one of the things I did think was hilarious. Can you pull up the cover of the Times that has Donald Trump, that has an article about Donald Trump winning? This was a cool thing I saw, and I find it hilarious. It's also very sad, depending on how you look at it.
Shoot.
Well, while he's pulling that up, they picked a very specific angle and a very specific view. That angle is supposed to be a monumental size image, a larger than life, a statuesque pose.
Statuesque.
But they picked one with the correct lighting that shows you two things: how bad his hair really is underneath that amazing comb over. And that's why Trump got mad about that. But what maybe people missed is it is a beautiful, full view of his fully intact ear that doesn't have any bullet damage. And they were very careful about picking an angle to make it easy to see he was never shot. And I was reading about this on like Twitter and Instagram and what's the other stuff, Reddit and the news articles and
there it is,
Blue Social. So yeah, look at that. It's meant to be like a very statuesque, like larger than life pose with that angle, right? You're looking subserviently up and all that kind of stuff. But like if you zoom in,
can we talk about his neck vagina for a little bit, J Train?
I mean,
let's talk about the neck vagina.
I don't. I mean, that's funny, but
do you see it? Do you see his neck vagina? Everyone, can you guys see that? Should I zoom in?
Look. That isn't even close to being the most important part. Zoom in as much as you can to his head. Oh my God, that is. Can you just? Okay, so no ear damage whatsoever, and the most amazing comb over I've ever seen on a human being.
My man has got a wicked comb over. Wicked.
And I've seen this thing blown in the wind as he's walking away from like Marine One, and it's just
with his neck jowls. You seen those blowing in the wind? Is that what you're talking about?
That is a name. That's a word I heard recently, jowls, and I'm like, that is an amazing word. Those jowls.
Are those jowls? What is that on his neck?
I'm gonna go with jowls because that makes it more fun.
All right.
But the big thing for me was they published a picture of his supposedly shot ear on the cover, easy to see, no damage for the whole world to have on the magazine cover. There's no damage. Like there's no bullet hole.
Was that on a time cover?
And that's why, in my opinion, they picked that side and that angle was to make that comb over apparent, to make him look like he really does, and to show you his ear. Like, come on.
Oh, like this picture.
Yeah. So that's the ear. And you know what? People will still debate it and call me a conspiracy theory or a liar or a tinfoil hat. And you know what? Cool, whatever. But that cover, in my opinion, was just a big FU to Donald Trump, calling him a liar between his hair and his ear. Like, I thought that was hilarious. Sad that we live in this reality in this timeline, but it's still.
I really wanted to talk about his neck for a little bit because he's been railing about that picture that it was posted. So I know it's really getting under his skin. So we really got to push that out to the people. Everyone hit subscribe and pass this along, especially those clips with the neck stuff.
I would rather push the released Epstein files out.
Also release the Epstein files.
Hey, why don't they do their fucking job? And so this is on something else I heard, and I'm confused why this hasn't happened. I was reading somewhere that multiple senators or congressmen have been sworn in by federal judges. They are allowed to swear in representatives in the case that Congress or whatever is in recess.
So why don't we do that? Let's get Senator Grivalda out there.
I know, right? But I think the reason they're holding off is, what's the point of her being sworn in when they can use this against the maggots for them derelicting their duty and not upholding it? And even if they do swear her in, it's not like they're going to get the vote. So the circus that is them having not sworn her in and forcing Mike Johnson to look a fool for not doing his job and swearing her in is more important than, and Congress isn't in session, so it's not like she's not doing her job.
Right. Mike Johnson is going down a dark path. He's a bubbly, energetic, positive type person, but he has been lying uncontrollably almost every day for a long time. It's starting to wear on him. You can see it in his eyes.
The mental gymnastics that man has to do on the fly to get through the shenanigans he is. And that's the thing about Lion Levitt. So you heard about her saying your mom recently?
Yeah, in the text message.
No. Like at a presser, somebody asked her, why in the world did they pick for Trump and Putin to meet in Budapest? And then she goes, your mom. It's like, what? No.
I saw a text exchange like that between Caroline and her counterpart, or another reporter, that they were working on stuff together.
Well, if you want to talk about text exchanges, let's talk about the Nazi
signal. Oh yeah, the young Republican children
Republicans
who are 40.
Repukigans.
Repukigans. I like it.
But the thing about that for me is I wasn't even a little surprised. I've heard so much pro-Nazi rhetoric from a variety of different, in real life, Republicans and through various social medias and some things being said by our current Republican leadership that, in my mind, really align to that. Like, if you want to quote Donald Trump, there's multiple quotes of him talking about immigrants as not real people, they're animals. And that dehumanization of a human to make it okay to not treat them with the appropriate respect and entitlement that they're granted under the Constitution. Like, the Constitution doesn't say all citizens are created equal. It says all people are created equal, right?
Yep.
And that includes immigrants and everything else. Human beings. Human beings are deserving of being treated like human beings. So for him to declassify them in his head as not human beings makes it easier for things like shooting him, letting him die. I'm even going to go back to Alligator Alley, which is letting them die by being eaten by an alligator. That's why it's okay in their head to let him be eaten by an alligator. Or Hunger Games style, getting a green card that, was it Nomi, I guess, was joking about, or somebody like that was joking about.
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe we'll do a Hunger Games style and see if they fight for a green card kind of thing.
Oh, that sounds like a JD Vance or freaking...
Like, these are all dehumanizing, unchristian behaviors. And if you go and look at it, like, I saw this article and it was showing comments by our current administration and by Hitler and the Nazi Reich. And it went line by line. And they're like, these Nazis said this, and Hitler said this, and Trump said this. And it's the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
It's, instead of saying Jews, insert or replace Jews with immigrants, and you can literally have direct quotes out of the Rise and Fall of the Third Reich book that apparently Trump supposedly
maybe Trump is
keeps
Hitler
by his
reincarnated. Maybe that's what happened.
I wondered about that. Like, if you believe reincarnation, but I mean, dude's been, anyway, assuming he could read and actually read the book. But anyway,
he can't. Sure, don't assume that. I wouldn't assume that at all.
Well, even a fifth grader can read that book slowly.
I don't think he made it to fifth grade, actually. Not mentally. He went, like, he showed up, I'm sure.
You know, I do believe that quote by that, what was the school he went to?
The Wharton School of Business.
Wharton, yeah. Like, one of his professors from there is quoted as saying that Trump was the dumbest student he ever had. Like, I believe that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And let's be honest, if Trump did a great job at, what was it, Wharton, then he, like, Wharton? Anyway, then he would release his transcripts. Like,
yeah.
But Trump has never released his tax returns. He's never released his transcripts. He's never released his
Epstein
grades.
files.
He's never released Epstein. Like, he doesn't. The only medical report he's released, I believe, is fake, and it was only because people thought he was dying. Like,
yeah.
My opinion is almost everything this guy says to prop himself up or give himself reasonable credibility, in my mind, is all fucking bullshit. And what you need to listen to is the Nazi rhetoric, the greed and corruption. There's where the truth lies.
What you need to listen to is the Almost Above Average podcast right here on YouTube every freaking day. Almost. All right? So subscribe. That's what you need to do.
And I'll be honest with you, like, I prayed that no liberal or leftist would be hurt in the No Kings protest, and I feel grateful that no leftists were hurt and significantly hurt, or I didn't hear about any deaths or any significant injuries.
Let's recap my experience. Great. I went to the No Kings protest in Raleigh, and there were it was bigger than the first one that I went to, and the feeling that I got while I was there was like being at a carnival or a fair. It was more like spending time at an event with your family. That's what it felt like. That was the scene. All for the same, we're all there for the same reason. Everyone was being peaceful and protesting a horrible, horrible regime. So it was a great experience. And I imagine there's going to be more until we can get this dude out of office. So the next No Kings protest, go down and support it.
Oh, do you have the Trump posted over the weekend, I think it was, the Trump 2028, the Trump 2032, the Trump 2036. It was on an image Trump 2036.
Oh my God. Was it going to be like 110?
Where is this image? Yeah, that was what everybody was like laughing at. It's like, wait a minute. Does he really expect to live that long?
I just thought of the coolest plot to the next edition of the Back to the Future edition. It'll be a satirical comedy kind of like, but like right now, 100 years in the future, it'll be like Ivanka's granddaughter is now in charge. And
Well,
the Trumps are still in their reign.
And that's one of the things I've heard from a few different places is the oh, well, what he means is the other Trump. Barron is another possible example of who he thinks maybe could be president in the future. And I'm like, that sounds like kingmanship again. Are we talking about kings again?
That's some king stuff right there. Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
who keeps talking about this?
Yeah.
Here, let me pull this up real fast. So, yeah, here you go. So here's the image, and here's them talking about, look, Trump 2300. Like, what? He's not going to be around that long. Like, people are taking bets right now that he won't make it to Halloween.
I support it.
I
don't wish for it, okay? I don't wish for it, but I support it.
I will fully clarify, I do not encourage nor wish for any political violence.
Me neither.
If Trump dies of natural causes in his bed, well, there's that.
I'm not even going to go that far, guys. You know, I'm Chris McIntyre. This is the Almost Above Average podcast.
I hope he lives for another 4 years and he gets impeached in the next month.
If Halloween comes around and Donald Trump just isn't anywhere to be found and everyone starts to look for him and all that stuff, I'm going to be happy over here. Like, I guess he's gone now. I'll be happy.
Did you see the thing about Russia is starting to talk about how they have evidence that Trump planned the assassination on Charlie Kirk?
Nope, but Russia, if you're listening and you have the evidence of Charlie Kirk's assassination attempt being dictated by the President of the United States, we're listening. We're waiting for it in America. Release it.
And the analysis that I saw, or the speculation, sorry, that's the correct word. The speculation I saw is nothing bad happened to him until he started advocating for the release of the Epstein files.
How ironic is that? Where is Alanis Morissette when you need
political violence bad? Period.
Yeah. Well, we covered a lot, J-Train.
Oh my God, that was so much nut. Like, I just want to take a minute to sit back and go, 2 years ago, I didn't have to wake up and wonder what fresh shit had happened. I didn't go to bed at night worrying about World War III. I didn't go to bed worrying about the economy tanking or my friends losing their jobs or healthcare. I didn't worry about any of that. And when Trump left office last time, I breathed a sigh of relief because I knew stability under a Democratic president was very realistic, and that I knew, like, Biden being seen out, whatever. The economy grew, my investments grew, where I worked grew, like everything just felt like it got better. Scientific advances, cures for stuff is coming up.
Actual legislation being passed.
Like, yeah, it felt like we were on a new, like a really safe path. Yeah. And when Trump won, I was like, motherfucker, now we're going to have to go through exactly the same shit as we did the first time, where I woke up every day worrying what fresh hell that dipshit was going to reap on the world. Oh. And you know what? In the last 10-ish months, holy fucking shit.
It
is one fucking catastrophe, disaster, bullshit thing after another, sometimes in multiple days. And it's just like, I'm tired, boss. Like, this is exhausting to watch people being tortured, to hear about kids dying, to be in fear of going to World War III. The economy, what's the newest thing? Biden is allocating another, or already did, another $20 billion to go to Argentina. The cost of the Medicare cuts that he made that's going to hurt a lot of people is $35 billion. And we're sending more money to Argentina than it would have been to just pay and to keep Medicare or Affordable Care Act the way it was. So instead of money to capitulate to the Democrats and to provide what we already set up for the American population, we took that money and more and sent it to Argentina.
Now that's America First policy right there. All right, MAGA.
And then Trump has the balls to say, oh, well, we're going to import beef to lower beef prices. And American beef people are like, what? First you ruined soybeans, now you're ruining beef. Are you insane? And then we gave the $20 billion to Argentina. They changed tariffs and adjustments to soybean output. China then turns around and buys soybeans from Argentina instead of America. So we gave Argentina $20 billion. We lost our sales of soybeans to China. to Argentina, the country we just bailed out 20, and now we're going to give another 20 billion to the country we already lost all our.
So now Argentina's got $20 billion.
Now we're losing our beef futures too.
Then they got China going to them, who's taken up all of the soybean market that we used to sell to China. So Argentina just made out like a fat cat. They're getting $20 billion from us, and they're selling all their soybeans to China. They are crushing it.
And if you don't think beef is next on that platter, you are insane. Are we winning yet, son?
My heart is with you, farmers of America. Genuinely, I have a ton of sympathy and empathy for what you guys are going through right now. You guys feed our country, and I hate that you're struggling right now.
But I legit wonder, like, the soybean farmers, they got fucked over in the first round. How in the world did they get it in their head that the smart thing to do for them and their families was to vote for the guy that screwed them the first time, knowing that he was probably going to screw them the second time? Like,
because they don't tie that the reason their hardship to him. They can't. Like, mentally, they have a block. They will not blame him, even when it is his fault. You know, it's like a mental block that they have.
So I will repeat the statement. Those who fail to learn history are doomed to repeat it. American soybean farmers got it a repeat. So did you learn it this time, or are you going to vote for Republicans again next time?
No, in 20 years, when we do get another Republican into the White House, they'll forget this ever happened. They'll do the exact same thing again. That's how it works.
Now, while I don't wish for political violence, I don't realistically believe with Trump's current degradation of health that he will be around to run for office in 2028. I do not wish him any ill will, but everybody out there to comment about Biden's health should really be taking a good stink eye at Trump's health.
Yeah, he's falling apart. And then who comes up after Trump?
J.D. Vance and then Barron.
Ugh, it is hell. We got to do something about this, guys. Vote for me. I'll be running for office eventually. All right.
As long as you didn't commit a felony, I think you're allowed.
No, you can commit a felony too. You can commit 34 felonies and run for office. There is no law on felons running for political office.
I hate it. I hate everything about this bullshit.
Hope they don't change that. Well, no, I still won't be a felon, hopefully, by the time I get there. Like, I should be getting better at not doing crimes as I get older.
Well, I mean, we're really getting into the part where Trump is going... I sincerely believe there is a possibility that within the next 6 months that the current administration that's the reason they're requesting all of the voter registration information from all the different states is so they can compile the list of Democrats. And I honestly believe at some point they're going to declare Democrats as having a mental issue and terrorists, and they're going to start hunting them down. Yeah. In fact, I'm probably going to go change my affiliation to independent just to try to get off that list.
I might go change mine to Republican to stay off that list.
Well, I mean, technically, being able to fuck with them in the primaries ain't the worst thing.
Yeah.
We already know who the Democrats are going to run. That's not even a question anymore.
Who do you think it is? AOC?
Newsom with AOC backing.
I like that lineup, actually.
I don't. You know what? Like, I know a lot of people rip on AOC, and she's not my favoriteest person in the whole world. But she's by far my least favorite person in the world. And I wish her the best of luck, and I can't wait to see what she's doing in 12 years.
I want to date her.
Newsom and another white male, and let's be honest, this is the society we live in right now. Racism and bigotry and misogynistic behavior is out there. So pick two white men so we can get the hell over ourselves and not make it a fight at the box office to keep Republicans from voting. Let's be honest. I have heard numerous times the reason they didn't vote Democrats because they didn't want a black woman in office. So let's take that out of the equation, put Newsom with another white man that's pretty cool out there and let them go.
Tim Walz. Let's go, Tim.
Nope, Tim's burnt. We need to find somebody else. And there's a number of different people out there that would be great candidates.
James Tallarico. He would be great.
Let's take that part of the equation out of the concern, and let's just run two easy candidates and let them walk this thing.
I think Tallarico could crush it. He could run for president.
He's got to be able to get away with that African American, but I doubt it. Two white men is about as good as you're going to get.
Yeah.
And in this economy, winning's more important than challenging anything else. In order to save this country, I think that's what has to happen. J. Trey McSqueaky,
McDougal,
Christopher McIntyre, begging you to go read a damn history book in the Constitution and go pay attention to this shenanigans. Go find a preacher, a minister, a therapist, or more importantly, a historian to go help you understand what's going on in today's world and understanding how close to the end of times we truly are. Because no matter what shenanigans you might want to bluster, our world is more toxic today, is hotter today, is scarier today, and dangerous today than it was a year ago. Period. No actual rational scientist, historian, or psychologist is going to be able to argue the other side of it. Go get your read-ins on and go vote these dipshits out. If we get to. Good luck. Best wishes. Stay safe. No political violence. And go stand up to some tyrants. Peace.
I'm Chris McIntyre. This is Almost Above Average. We'll see you on the next one.